Welcome back again. I'm going to make an evening espresso. I'm going to go with an Americano this time, if I can get the proportions just right. But because it's evening, I'm going to go with a Colombian decaf that I also got from the World's Market. The thing with decaf, though, or at least this bean, is really just the fact that it's decaf, so it's processed a little differently, which means my grind might be a little different, my extraction might be a little different. So let's go ahead and get the kettle boiling. Last time we used the drip tray as a sort of catch or a net so I can get all the right stuff preheated. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The kettle is right behind the camera, so hopefully you don't drip anything on it, but we'll see. While that's going, let's get my coffee measured out here. What I've been doing, and I think I won't stray from that right now, is I'm going to stick with 17 grams. So let's go and do that. Oh, come on. One more bean. And I think what happened last time is that the extraction went a little too fast. So I'm going to make the grind go from 8 is what we used this morning. Let's do 7.5. That'll make it a little bit finer, so hopefully it'll be just fine enough that the extraction will go just as fast as we are hoping. I'll put the scale right there because we're going to be coming back to that. Glass, cap, if I can figure this out, and grind. And as usual, we want to make sure that every bean has been properly ground. Okay, now that's there. We just need the portafilter to be able to put the grounds in. Next up will be preheating the brew chamber. I think everything is actually ready. Since I'm making an Americano, I'm not going to be using milk or syrup or anything like that to make a sweeter drink, so there's a lot less preparation involved. So the next step is just to wait until the water is done boiling. So there's that. This is the scale that I've been using. This came with the Flair espresso machine. You can see on the dial here what they recommend the pressure you want to be to actually make the good espresso. So the pre-infusion process that I was talking about is where I have it at 2 bars or so, and I let it sit there for about 10 seconds before I actually take it all the way up to 9 bars up here. So that's why the pressure gauge here is really helpful. Otherwise, I don't have any kind of readings at all, and I'm just completely in the dark as far as how much pressure I'm going, which sometimes I take it over the 9 bar limit into the braking zone. Fortunately, I always catch myself before I get there. But if I didn't have this gauge, I would have no idea. The water is almost there. Get my scale on and going. And you know what? last time I didn't worry so much about water droplets or condensation on here last time, but let's actually dry it out before I put any grounds in there. Let's see if it makes any kind of difference. Oh yeah. Oh dear. Drop the puck screen. That's okay. 5-second rule. Damn. This is where having like heat-resistant gloves or something would be really helpful. All right, and last time I also made the mistake of not getting that preheated while I'm doing this step. So here we are. Coffee. WDT, which stands for, I believe it's Weiss or Weiss Distribution Tool. Really fancy way of saying, hey, there's thin needle prods in here that we're going to stir the coffee grounds with. But Weiss Distribution Tool is much fancier. Okay. There we are. Ish. Give it a couple level taps. Tamp. Okay. Puck screen on. Put this here. Now we have the brew chamber ready to go. Just dripped a bunch of water everywhere, but that's okay. Let's make sure you're in focus for this main event here. Okay. Now all I gotta do is get some water in here. I'm gonna try to miss the camera for this one. Okay. All right, while the water's hot, get the pressure gauge in here. All right, start the timer. Pre-infuse 2 bars for 10 seconds. Now, all the way up to 9. So same sort of deal where I'm going for a 2-to-1 ratio, or 17 grams of coffee in, 34 grams of espresso out over a course of, let's say, 40 seconds. Though we'll see realistically what I get to here. And it's going to be close. 34 at 44 seconds. Ah, very cool. All right, give it a swirl. And now really what I'm going to do is taste test this, see how much hot water I need to actually make it the kind of balance that I want. Oftentimes I might just go for a 1-to-1 ratio between espresso and hot water to make the Americano that I like. But it just depends on the strength that I end up making in the evening. It's tastes pretty under extracted to me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's actually over extracted. Though I'd bet it's under. Again, still trying to discern the differences between sour, which is under extracted, and bitter, which is over extracted. I'm gonna guess this one is pretty under. So I think we're gonna just fill it to the top here with hot water, and then just go from there and have a reasonable evening with this. The hot water is still steaming, which is nice. I'm sure you may have different preferences on what the temperature of this hot water would be or anything like that. But it is hot enough though that I'm gonna have to wait a second to drink it because there's no handle here, so it's pretty hot. All right, we're gonna go from there. Oh yes, the buying taste test. Let's see how that goes here. All right, I'll just. Probably $1. Yeah, I wouldn't pay a whole lot for this. Not very good. But something to drink. Better luck next time.